This is the Monday Reset with Mandy Davis. I'm Mandy, a former school principal turned homeschool mom who saw the system from the inside and decided my kids deserved something better. Every Monday, we take 10 minutes to cut through the noise, the fear, the politics, the pressure, and talk about what's really shaping our kids. Because education isn't neutral, and neither is our culture. Here, you'll get truth without hysteria, conviction without chaos, and perspective that actually helps you parent with peace. Take a breath, grab your coffee, and let's reset together. Episode 13. Homework was never about learning. There's a question parents ask quietly, often at the kitchen table, late at night, when the house is finally still. Is this actually helping my child? It usually comes after tears over homework, after a long school day that somehow still isn't finished, after a child who was fine all afternoon suddenly melted down over an assignment that felt far bigger than it should. For years, parents have been told the same thing. Homework builds responsibility. Homework reinforces learning. Homework prepares kids for the real world. But today, I want to share a truth as someone who spent years inside the school system. Homework was really never about learning. Homework exists because schools run on pacing, not mastery. Inside schools, instruction moves forward whether every child understands or not. Teachers are required to stay on schedule, not because they want to, but because the system demands it. Curriculum maps don't pause, benchmarks don't wait, and so learning spills into the home. Homework becomes the system's pressure valve. It's not assigned because children need more time to understand. It's assigned because the school day can't slow down enough to allow that understanding to fully form. So families absorb what the classroom can't carry, and parents are told this is normal. But homework doesn't measure understanding. It measures compliance. It measures whether a child can sit still long enough after a full day of stimulation. It measures whether a family has the time, energy, language skills, and emotional bandwidth to support it. It measures whether a child is willing or able to push past exhaustion and prove they are a system-compatible learner. And when homework goes well, it often has very little to do with independence. It has to do with how much support is happening behind the scenes. Parents reteaching concepts and managing emotions become the bridge between a system and a child. Parents serving as night homeschoolers, pushing through while sacrificing connection, trading rest for responsibility, and turning what should have been family time into a second shift of school. Inside schools, we know this. We know homework completion correlates more with the home sacrifice than with intelligence. And we know it creates tension. But homework persists, not because it's working, but because it signals rigor. Schools are under constant pressure to prove they're doing enough, that their test scores justify the pace. So homework stays, even as the evidence grows against it. Parents who have questioned it in the past were often labeled permissive. Kids who struggled with it were labeled unmotivated. And families learned to doubt themselves instead of the structure itself. The cost of homework isn't academic. It's relational. It turns evenings into negotiations instead of recovery. It replaces connection with correction. And it teaches children that learning happens under pressure instead of curiosity. For many kids, homework doesn't reinforce confidence. It erodes it. They begin to associate learning with frustration, mistakes with shame, and effort with exhaustion. And over time, something subtle happens. children stop trusting their own capacity. Parents stop trusting their instincts, and the home becomes an extension of the school day instead of a place of rest. That's not a failure of parenting. That's a system failure. Where can we make a shift? Parents, you have more influence than the systems led you to believe, and homework policies are far less rigid than they appear. Teachers often have flexibility they don't advertise. Schools respond to calm, informed communication more than compliance-driven fear. What this looks like in practice is calm, clear communication. Not confrontation or demands, simply naming what you're seeing at home and what you're choosing to prioritize. For some families, that means setting a firm time boundary and stopping when that time is up. For others, it means completing homework selectively. And for some, it means opting out entirely, especially in the elementary years. You don't have to announce it publicly. You don't have to justify it endlessly, and you don't have to apologize. You are allowed to lead your home, and learning won't disappear when homework does. In many cases, understanding deepens when pressure lifts. So here's your Monday reset. If learning only works under pressure, something is already broken. Homework was never meant to prove worth, yours or your child's. When evenings become extensions of the school day, learning doesn't deepen. It deteriorates. You're allowed to question that and fight for the childhood your child deserves. I'm Mandy Davis, and this was your Monday Reset. If today's episode hit home, whether you're stepping out of the system or simply refining what already works, the Homeschool Bible gives you the clarity, confidence, and grounding every parent deserves. You don't have to figure this out alone. Pre-order through the link in my show notes. Thanks for joining me for the Monday Reset. If today helped you breathe a little deeper or see things a little clearer, share it with a friend who needs that same moment of clarity. We're not here to chase every headline. We're here to think critically, lead calmly, and protect what matters most. I'm Mandy Davis, and this was your Monday Reset.
Join Mandy Davis every Monday for a new episode of the Monday Reset.